This is part 4 of 4 of how to give a quiz using Google Form. In part 1, we took a look at how to create your quiz. In part 2, how the quiz can be taken by the students and how you're able to see the answers. In part 3, how to grade the quiz with a script called Flubaroo. And in part 4, I'm going to show you how to email out the grades to your students and filter the grades for easy access putting into your gradebook. Whenever you're in your Drive and you click on your quiz, you will be able to see the students that have completed the quiz. Once all the students in your class have completed the quiz, or at least most of them, you can grade the quiz and then you can email out the quiz. So students will receive instant feedback on how they did. To email out the grades to the students, you go to Flubaroo and you click on Email Grades. Flubaroo will ask you which question has the email addresses. You can look and see, but you can already see that Flubaroo guesses which one it is since we labeled one of our questions email address. So that is the correct column that contains student email addresses. You want it to include a list of questions and scores, and you would also like for it to include an answer key. You even have the option to put in a message. Choose Continue. And it will tell you that 2 of the students did not receive an email because they left it blank, but 2 of the students did get the email. Whenever we look, we see that 2 students do have an email address, 2 do not, and the last email in here was you, the teacher, when you filled yours out yourself. And since you used yours as the answer key, it's not going to email you the grades. What it will do is email you a report of the grades that were sent. As a teacher, I will get an email that says a record of the grades have been emailed for the quiz. And when I look at that email, it will tell me the exact same thing that it just did on the last screen, except now I have an email to keep for my records. It tells me how many were submitted, how many were emailed out, and what the average score was. When a student checks his or her email, they will get a report that looks like this. It will tell them how many points they earned, and it will show them the questions, what their answer was, what the correct answer was, and it highlights them green if they got it right and red if they got it wrong. It also tells the students the time that they submitted the quiz, and it double checks with their first and last name and email address. All this is for the students' record keeping. Plus, they have automatic feedback of how they did on your quiz. To make it easier for you, the teacher, to put the grades in your SIS gradebook, when you are looking at your quiz, you want to go to the Grades tab at the bottom. When you click on the Grades tab, you want to filter your students probably by last name, since your gradebook will be alphabetical. So what you can do is just move to column C, and you want to filter this sheet from A to Z. Notice when you do this, it puts everything on the sheet from A to Z, including the last name column, so it kind of puts things out of whack. The easier solution is to do the following. When you're looking at your student scores, select just the parts that you want to filter from A to Z. So I just want to filter the student names and scores, so I'm going to select all of this area and just select it all the way across for however many questions that you have. Now I can go to Data and I can sort the range that I just selected. When you choose Sort Range, it's going to ask which column do you want to sort by. I want to sort by column C, which was the last name. Column C, and I'm going to filter it from A to Z. I choose Sort, And now everything stays nice and neat, except under last name, it is filtered the students alphabetically by last name from A to Z. Right next to that will be the total points that they earned, which is what you'll put into your gradebook. So the easiest way to do this is to print a copy of the grades. Whenever you print, you can choose actual size, leave it as landscape, choose print, and it will download a PDF file of the grades. When you open that PDF file, you will notice that you do not need all the information that is in the PDF. You really just need this first page, which has their names and the total points they earned. Page 2 just has some information you don't need. So make sure when you print, you just print the pages that you need and not all the pages that you don't. You can do that by selecting Print, and instead of having it print all, you can go to Pages, and I just want it to print page 1. If you have multiple pages, put a comma, space, and then the next page you need it to print. And so on if you have multiple pages. It is possible that you have students from multiple classes taking your quiz. Here's an example from my class. Notice all my students from second hour and all my students from fourth hour. So whenever the students submit these quizzes, it'll have all their names in here plus second and fourth hour. So when I filter the grades, I select all the students that I need and I sort the data by range, but I sort it by their last name column first, and then I add another column to sort it by the hour that they're in. That way when I print it off, I have all my second hour students first and all my fourth hour students second. You can do the same by simply adding an hour question into your quiz. So this concludes our video series on how to give a quiz using Google Form, how to create that quiz, how to grade that quiz, how to find the answers that students have submitted to you, and how to email out those answers to the students and then put the answers into your gradebook. If you have any other questions, please be sure and ask.